Hi everyone. Today's video will be about the QGIS tool. You can consider it as your comprehensive manual guide, which can take you from the very beginner level to advanced level. And we will navigate all the details as much as we can in just two sessions or two different videos. So before covering the cons of those videos, I just would like you to ask yourself one question. Why do you need QGIS? Actually, QGIS is very powerful in terms of mapping. If you are going to work with mapping and so on, we have many other tools, but most of it's being limited, having a lot of limitation. So it's at the end, it's very essential for the spatial analysis, plus the mapping and geographic information system. And on top of all of this, it's very user friendly. Plus, it's a free tool. It doesn't require any purchase or something like this. So now let's jump into the contents. Actually, today we'll be covering probably the first two parts, which is working how to work with maps, plus the illustration, and also this attribute tables will be covering, and part of it will be covered within the working with maps. So the first part I would like you to do is just to download the tool. I will just drop the link in the video description. It's just straightforward. You can just go and download it, then install it. Then I will be sharing some plugins. I will be showing the next slide with you. I need you to download these plugins before you start working with the tools. Make sure all these plugins, which I'm going to show it with you, it's around 12 plugins, being downloaded before you start to use the tool. So this can make the life easy. And for all these plugins, I will be explaining throughout the video. Then the most important, I will take you through the tool overview. I will just explain what kind of tool overview we have, what kind of meanings of panels, and all other stuff. And this is very important. I need you to understand this very well before you start, because it will make life more easy. Then today will be more covering about how to create points, lines, and polygons, even manual or automated. Actually, the main point about that, it's called vectors. Like you can say vectors. I'll be to take you through vectors. Then this can be manually done, and also I will explain how you can import data from, for example, different data sources like Excel or CSV, and start working out with this data. Like for example, if you have points, creating points, having different colors, and this and so on. And then we'll be explaining how to creating sites and sectors in the map. And we just go through a few things like how to search for a particular site or particular point, particular layers, or how to capture or to zoom into a particular coordinates. So this will be mainly the subject of today's video. The other things will be covered in the next video. So moving forward, actually, I would like first to take you through this part. This is the plugins. First, you need to install the tool. You can see here, for example, this is for Windows, for download for Windows. You can just download for this, or Mac. You have the website have both, even you are Windows or Mac users. Then I would like you to download all these plugins before you start. Before you start any project, just download all these plugins. Then I will explain all of it throughout the project. So if I quickly scan it, the first one, Quick Map, and this Quick OSM, those just to will help you to import your maps, for example, Google Maps or Google Satellites into the map. This autosaver just will help you to autosave your project during your working, and like which can avoid losing your project, for example, or losing your project not saved and so on. Then coordinate capture, this will capture coordinates, and same for lat and long, and this is to search for a specific layer. And the spreadsheet will allow you to import data from Excel files, not only CSV. And shape tools, this will allow you to, for example, create sectors and having a different shaping tools and so on. This is very, very important. And this just if you would like to join different lines. And this one, if you would like to calculate a distance, this would be in the advanced part. Then also geometric shapes would be in the advanced part. The last part, HGMIS, this is also having similar function to Quick Map service and other function also, which will be used in the advanced part. Now let's jump into the QGIS to start. Okay, once you install the tool and you open the tool, this is how your page will looks like. As you can see here in this screen, there is something called recent project. This is in case if you have already project created, it will come here, especially the recent use projects. It will come in the left figure here. And this is like in case if you don't have anything, like you don't have, it's completely new. So it will be just showing this kind of new empty project. As you can see in this kind of figure we have here, we have something on the left and the right. This is called panels. And we have the top here. This is called the menu toolbar. And all these kind of toolbars below the menu toolbar is actually within the menu toolbar, but it's like a shortcut you are adding here to speed up your work. But all these kind of things can be found on all the above. So it's like a shortcut for you. And I will tell you which one to be added and which one to just hide it and use it whenever you need it. So first, I would like to show you like what we are going to do. I'll go now through the final template, which we're going to work on it today. Then we'll start from scratch again from here. So let's go for this one. So as you can see in this screen, this is what we are going to do today. For example, we'll try to create lines like this on the highways. You can try this purple lines or this one, lines in between. This one also be automated lines. We'll try to create it as well, like how to make points manual, polygons, as you can see here, and also how to import sectors and this kind of data with different colors or points with different colors, and also how, for example, to add texting or to add this kind of scale bar in the map, texting, and all these kind of things, how to do that. You can see this, for example, the panel on the left, this is having three figures, as you can see here. The first one called layer order, and the bottom down here, there is a layers. This is layers. Whatever layer you're creating, it will come here, as you can see. And the rest is the layer orders in case if you want to replace one with another. For example, I have the layer called Google Route Map. If I take this Google Route Map as an order, I take it to above the first top here, it will overwrite everything I have it here. So you have to take care of that part. This is very, very important because sometimes you will upload a new layer and you might not see any figure, anything in your map. So this means your layer ordering need to be corrected. But let's quickly take you through this one. The first part here called the project. If you look into this project, just like information about your project, how to create a new project, how to save the project, and even how to do some print out. Will be discussed at the end of the session, today's session. Then you have the edit part. If you would like, for example, to add annotations, like for example, text can be done from here. And as I told you, can be added also as a shortcuts here as well. And here is the view. For me, this is one of the most important because view having many, many good tools. For example, and the most important, it's not about the tools, it's control your panels and toolbars. For example, as I told you, in the panels, on the left side, you have layer orders, you have the layers and so on. So if you click on the panels, you see, for example, here I'm enabling 4 or 5 things, right? Processing toolbox, which is on the right. You have the layer panel, layer order panels. So this kind of things, if you want to get this figure, even if you want to remove some of them, you can just do it from here directly. So this is very important. And the toolbar, which is being shortcuts, instead of going to the menu toolbar, you can just enable those shortcuts. For example, I just highlighted the most important for me, and I believe will be most important for you as well. But some of the others, for example, label toolbar, some of other we might need it from time to time, but I'm just trying to minimize my toolbar as much as I can, just to have few figures here. So this is being controlled frame. We have many other options here. I will go through it also. Let me take you quickly through this one. For example, this is measure if you would like to calculate distance between one point to another. You want like to get the angle, for example. So if you example measure, you would like to calculate the measure from this point to another point. You can see it's giving, for example, here in kilometers. We can change the unit just to get the measure and so on. So this is like something in the view as well. And this is just for the zooming and maps. This is also already included in the menu toolbar. And here decoration, just like if you would like to add, for example, as showing at the bottom here, you add text for your map, or even you want to add this kind of title as in the above here, or north arrow, or even the scale bar, which is being shown in the top left. This can be done from the view decorations. Okay. And then you are ending with that layer visibility. This is if you would like to show all the layers, which is bottom here, or just to add highlight or add some of them. And the last part here is just preview mode. For example, if you would like to change the preview mode color, for example, this one saying simulate, like without no blue. So if you make this one, it will change your coloring here, which is depend on your preferences for this one. So I'll keep it normal now. Now for the layers part, this is now very, very important. This is the most important one because this is like explaining how you can add a new layers. For example, this is what we are going to discuss now in practical examples, how you to add, for example, lines, points, polygons, and so on. This can be for the manual part, and add layer, for example, from a database. For example, let's say that you have an Excel file, so you need to add it from the add spreadsheet layer, or you have, for example, a CSV, so it will be add through limited layer. And if you already having already vectors being saved in your project, vector means what? For example, you have lines or points or even polygons being created. So, and you would like to add it again, you already saved it and you would like to add it, so it can be from here. Same for the raster and all the other things. But usually we mainly use vector, raster, add a spreadsheet layer, and add the meta text layer. And this spreadsheet layer option, You cannot see it if you didn't install the plugins, which I highlighted in the beginning of this session. So this is actually very important. All the other things we'll be discussing in more details now. Now, if you just go to the settings part, just like if you'd like to have a keyboard shortcut, specific shortcuts, you can just go here and just click it and tune it. For example, if you would like to have a specific shortcut for a specific icon, you can just tune it or change it based on your preferences. And this is where you can install your plugins. This is very important. For example, if you click here, this plugins, then manage plugin, then you can see have all you have installed, not installed, and so on. So for example, I will add, for example, this Quick Map services. This is the first part I'm going to explain today. And you can just install the plugins from here or even uninstall if you would like to do that. For example, you have this one, you can uninstall or install from the bottom right here. This is one. Now, the remaining parts, it will be covered now during our work. So now let's jump to the project from scratch to start working in our points, which will be starting first with the vectors, which is how to add polygons and lines and points and so on. Let's move forward. So now let's start our project from beginning. So the first part we going to cover is how to work with vectors, which is how to create polygons, lines, and points. So as you can see here in this project, actually, you have the project templates here. So you can have a new empty project. You can get it from here on the right side here, or even you can in the top left, you can see here the new project. This is might not be in the same location in your project. See this kind of toolbars, you can control the location of it. For example, this one I can if you see this very few dots, small dots here in the top left, for example, this is called project toolbar. If you hover your mouse over it, it give you the name. So if you take this one here, for example, I can just move it, drag it, and drop it anywhere I would like to do. This is for all the toolbars, which is shortcuts being added. So I'll just take it back here. So now I will just need to click here, which is called new project from here or from here. So I will just click and create a new project. Now it's creating a new project in the middle right here in the center. This is our map. And as you mentioned, the left and right is our panel. So the first part I would like to explain to you is how to add the map view. For example, the Google Maps or Google Streets or even Google Satellites, how to add this kind of things. So initially I installed one tool called plugin tool. It was called Map Services. So if you take back to this one here quickly, it's called Quick Map Services. See, it's called Quick Map Service and also Quick OSM, but this is the one I installed it. It's called Quick Map Service. If you click it, it will give you explanation as well. So once I click this one, Quick Map Services, you will find it's coming under this web. If you click this web, you'll find this Quick Map Services once you install it. Under this Quick Map Service, you will find many different options. You can even increase it or decrease it from the settings. For example, I can hide all ESRI, Mapbox, OSM, I can hide all this from the settings. So now I will just need to upload my Google routes and satellites. So this is what I'm going to do. So I will just click this one now. See, it's giving me my Google satellite now. If I zoom in, it will just show all over the maps in here, as you can see. Now, for example, let's assume you would like to get a satellite view. So you just need to click satellite view. See now, this is very important now. So once I click it, I just still can see what? The same map, right? I didn't see, for example, this Google satellite. Why? Because if you look into the bottom left here, you have this two layers was being added, one called Google Route and one called Google Satellite. For example, if I hide this Google Route, now I can see the Google Satellite. What if I want to keep both of them here, but I want to do the same action within this part? Now, this layer order will come into the figure. Now you need to change the order. You need to get the Google Satellite on top of the Google Route in case you would like to show the Google Satellite. So how to do that? See, this you need just to enable this part first, called control rendering order. So now you can just left click here and just drag and drop above this one. This one, just take it above here. See, now it's going my Google Satellite. I'll just take it back. And now let's part on this part. So now I would like to go and start creating points in any area here. So I will just try to work in the same work which I did it. I should just show it to you. So I would like, first part I would like to highlight you also as well. Let's assume that you would like to get a particular coordinates now, like Google Earth. to jump into particular coordinates. How to do that? I have installed another tool called coordinates and lat and long. This also can be done from plugins. You can do that. So if you install these kind of tools, you will find it actually under the plugins. For example, the plugins, you have the latitude, longitude tools. As you can see here, it's having different options. This is under the plugins, like copy, display coordinates, show an external, zoom to a particular coordinate. For example, this is what you are trying to do now. If I click this one here, if you can see in the bottom left here, it's showing zoom to coordinates. So what you need to do is just put your coordinates here, and even you can switch the order. For example, you have latitude, longitude. You can even make from longitude to latitude or whatever. So I will just keep it this one, and now I will start zooming. So once you just add your coordinates here and just click zoom, even enter or click zoom. So now see, it's highlighting the point which you would like to address here. So if I zoom in, just zoom in here with your mouse, just click into mouse till you reach into this point. So now this is the area, for example, which I'm going now to start working with the vectors and so on. So, and one more point, like when I show you plug in this one, latitude and longitude, I also have this tool. It can be come here in this, which is called this toolbars. We can also add it here, but I didn't add it, but we can add it if you would like to do that. It can be done again, as I highlighted before, from the view, toolbars, and you can just add whatever you want. For example, this latitude, longitude toolbar. If I click it, now it's coming here. This is the same. You can see copy, display, or even zoom in, zoom into coordinates was coming down here. Now, the first part I would like to highlight is working with lines. For example, if I would like to create a line manual, for example, in this particular area, I would like to create some lines. So what we need to do. So as I told you before, the first part and most important for us is layer. This part, it's called layer. Under this layer, we have different things here. So the manual creation, whenever you would like to create a layer, you need to create into layer. So for example, any layers which is especially for the lines or polygons or points, this is, you should add new temporary scratch layer. So if I click that part now here, let's see, it will open this part. I can just call it, for example, lines. Okay, I'll just call it lines. And the layer name, this is just the name. And now we have the geometry type. For example, this geometry type depends on what kind of types you would like to draw. For example, you want points or lines or polygons. So today we'll be covering this tree, and you have many other things as well. You can use it all of it, but we're covering the points, polygons, and lines as well. So now I'll just draw lines. And this is the coordinate system. This is usually what we use, which is WGS84, but this is actually can be changes based on your preference or based on the area you are drawing the lines about. But this is usually what we are doing, which is the default one. EBGS 436, this one, for example. I will show how to adjust this part as well to get the exact correct coordinates, but for the meantime, just use this one, EBGS 436, or even the project CRS. I will use the project one. Now, I would like to create, for example, multiple lines within the same scratch area or layers. So I just need, for example, to give a different names for the lines. So I'll just came line name, for example. Let's stick with me. So now this will be your the data table, how it would looks like. For example, if you click this one, I'll just remove it now again. I'll just call it line name. So now, for example, once you start creating, it will ask you for this particular field. What is the line name you would like to add? So this is the length of line. I will just give it the maximum, which is 100. I will add. Now, for example, it's asking me if you would like to add another sheet. So I will, for example, I need to give ID for the line. So here you need to change this to integral because this one I need number. So I will just add now. So now, once I click OK, it will, in the bottom left here, you can see now we have this line being created here. Okay, now this is our sketch layer, but we have nothing. So now we can start editing and adding outliers. Actually, if you look in this line, you need first to click in this layer. You can click it now. Now I need to start drawing lines. So here where this kind of toolbars is coming, which is called, if you look into digitizing toolbar, you have two types of digitizing toolbar. First one is digitizing toolbar, and the second one is advanced digitizing toolbar. This one, the advanced one, if you'd like, for example, to cut, offset, or do many things, I will show this one for you. So now you need, the first action you'd like to do is just click the layer you created. You click it here. Then if in this one, you can see in this digitizing toolbar, which can be get from here, digitizing toolbar and advanced digitizing toolbar. Once you click it, you need to see this mouse. If you look, toggle editing. So now once you click it, it will start showing another options here. And here is the option which having add line feature. If you select from the beginning a polygon, it will be showing as a polygon, or points will be showing as a polygon. So now you can just click it here and start drawing your lines. For example, this is, as you can see, this mouse. Now, for example, I need to draw lines for this area. So I will just split it into 4 lines, for example. So I will just need to draw from here to here. You can even zoom in and just do whatever you want. So now it's just like what you need to do, just left click, then right click here. Now it's opening. If you remember, we created a name, right? So I will just create line 1. If you remember, this is in case if you would like to have a fields here. So now I need ID 1. So this, okay, I close it. So now you just left click, then left click again, then right click here. So I will call it 1, and here call it line 1. Then I make OK. Okay. See now, this is actually one of the most important, as highlighted in the beginning. Actually, I draw 2 different lines now in the same area with the same name. But because of the layer order, the line is not appearing. Again, this is very important. You have to remember this one all the time. So we need to change the layer order on the top left here, layer order. You can just drag and drop above here. So now if you look into that part, you'll find you have 2 lines here. See, 2 lines because I draw 2 different lines now. I will delete one of them later, but let's now continue drawing more lines just to explain more about that part. So we need to click on the lines here, as I mentioned you, then editing, toggle editing, then again add a feature. So I will create a new line from here. Tell, for example, you can just keep for the left click till the end point. Once you make sure that this is your last endpoint, you just click right click now. It will be opening this one again now. 2, and for example, call it line 2. Now we have the second line, third line again, left click, then move forward here, move again here, left click again, then right click if you want like to end. So this one, 3. So now all our lines is being, we have draw all our lines. Now, if you would like, for example, to change the thickness of these kind of lines, for example, you would like to edit it. So we need to double click here or right click and go this properties, or double click and double left click. So once you double left click, it will be opening that part. After this layer properties, you'll find this symbology. This is actually the most important for the editing. All the editing will be done through the symbology. So for example, this is straightforward. You have the line. You have a lot of editing. You can change the color from here. I will just keep the same color, no problem. You can change the opacity. Then you can change, for example, the width. And the good point that you can do before closing the window, you can just check what you can do. For example, if you click 1 here, change it from open to 61. See, this is how it looks like. If you click apply, now it's very clear that changing line. Then you can change the color, or even you can make it dash. See, for example, here, dash or line, depend on your preferences. So this one, let's, for example, now, for example, this one, or this one, and so on. So I'll just keep it back for this one, which is blue, or whatever color you would like to do. I will keep any color for now. So for example, I click only the color, then showing here, and you can, for example, you can move this color which you selected. You can just use, this is like the right side here. This is just your preferences. For example, if you want to use a particular colors, you can drag it around here, so you can just change directly whenever you want, instead of changing every time. So now I'll just click OK, then I will make apply now. Now how this my looks like. Now this is the first part, how to create lines. Now let's assume you would like to delete or modify or edit. So again, you need to make sure whenever you're doing adding or editing, you just click on the layer itself. So in the top left here, there is toggle editing already enabled. If you disable this one, everything will disappear. And this is actually, if you look into that part, if you disable this part, it will give you a message here. Do you want to save the changes to the layer? Till now, if your project closed, this means this layer is not saved. Why? Because I didn't save it from the beginning. How to save that part to make sure it can be used at any time you would like to do? Just right click and you can make it permanent here. So now you will just make sure it's being saved. Call it lines, for example. Then you can just give the location of this line. For example, I would like to give it here, just lines. Then I'll go this QGIS to you. This one, I'll just save it here. Okay. Then I just save it. Okay. This means now it's saved. Now you are safe side. Now let's assume that you would like to edit this kind of lines. You would like to make an edit for this one. What to do now? Let's assume now I would like to delete this additional lines. So you have something here. If you look in the same, which is called digitizing toolbar. If you moved after this, you already use this feature. You have this feature. It's called vertex toolbar, which is you would like to manipulate or change something here. If you like, click here on this icon, this arrow, this is having vertex toolbar, which is current layer. For the current layer which is being selected. So if I click this one now, it will show this. You can see now my mouse starts showing that I can start selecting something here and there. And plus on that, this till the end of here, if let's zoom now, I suggest select this one here, the bigger one here. See now. See now it's just giving me an option to drag it and drop it. If you can see now, I can, for example, move it here. Now it's being moved. See? If you click again and take it back, it will be taken back. So this is the first part we would like to do. For example, I would like to delete one of this one. For example, how to delete? Just click it now, then go above here. There is in the same, but this is a new one which is called digitizing one. Digitizing. If you go to the digitizing, you have delete part. You can just click here and delete part. For example, just click it here. You will just delete this additional line here. And also for the editing, for the other editing here, for example, let's assume you would like to offset or move it a little bit. For example, this is if you would like to reshape the feature. This is if you would like to reshape the feature. And this one, for example, if you would like to offset the curve. If you click here, for example, and you would like to move like this, you are giving an offset for this, that part. See? This, if you'd like to move it here and there. You have two lines being created here. I'll just take this one back again here. So this is how you can edit actually. And you have many other things here. For example, you can trim, you can cut it, you can split it, and also you can add something extra if you would like to do that. And going back to this vertex. So if you click here, you need to right click. See, right click, just right click. Now it's giving you, see this one, you right click here, very important. If you like click, for example, I would like to reduce the size of that. So I will just take it down here. See, from this circle, take it up or down. So the circle above here, up and down. Even you can, but make sure just to right click here. See this one. I have a plus here icon. If you click this plus, this means I can even extend it more to here, for example. So now if I click, it's done, saved. Now if you would like to this make vertex, you need to right click. Remember that. Then you need to click in the circle, just take it back here. So this is how actually we can edit your lines. Now we are done. Once you are done, just make sure to remove this toggle editing. It's not necessary, but it's better to keep it removed just to avoid. Now we can just make the save change already saved. So now our lines is being saved. Now let's go through how to create points quickly. For example, if you'd like to create a point, it's exactly the same concept from the layers here. So you will like go add layer, and under the add layer, you have create layer, under layer create layer, then you will have this new temporary scratch layer. Again, this is the same concept. Then you call it points, for example. Under the points, you can see here it's points, and here is the coordinates. You can keep the project one, which you have in the project. Then now you can give a field. For example, let's say test name. Like this is the field name. Now I'll just give the maximum digits in case I would like to add some. Then I will add field here. Then test number, test ID, for example. Then I will just give this one ID. Let's assume now you'd like to create different points in the map. So now this point is being created, and by default, once you create this new scratch layer, it will just showing here. You need to click in the layer if you'd like to add this one. By default, this toggle editing is being enabled. See now this one. If you disable this one, everything will disappear here. So now see this one now. Change it to add points feature. Before it was add line feature. So assume now I would like to add different points in the map. So I will add one point here. See now it's adding me for the test name, asking me for test name. Let's say that 5G download, for example. G download. I'll click OK. So I can just add it here now. See now, I'm adding again points, but it's not showing in the map. Let's say 5G upload. Now I'm adding more, but it's not showing anything because again, this is take care of that part. The points, the order is not being organized. So I just need to drag it and drop it to make it the first point. See now I have 2 points being here. I can add extra point here. So it's just showing give test name because I didn't add the other column, another column which I forgot from the beginning. So now 5G upload, for example. I need to add one more, for example, 4G. You can just give any name you would like to do, NSA. Okay, 5G, NSA. Okay, you can just keep adding points as much as you can, and it's all saved under the same points. Let's go to, for example, CSA upload. Okay, now this is points. If you zoom in, this is the points which you have it. Now, if you would like to change the formatting, same again as what you highlighted, just double click here and just change the color. For example, make it red. Then click OK. Change the size. Size can be with you whatever units you would like to do. So, for example, I will make this one as 5 and or 4. This is how it looks like. Then if you apply it, now my points is being created here. And again, you can do this the auditing as we highlighted before. The same way of auditing. For example, if you click this one vertex, you right click here, then you can, for example, move it to here as an example, or click move it to here, and so on. Left click, move it, and so on. This is how you can edit it. This is the same concept. And the last part I would like to highlight about that part, again, go to the layer and add a layer. Now, create a layer again, new temporary scratch layer. And now this is, we call it polygons, okay? Polygons. Now here, you just need to add the polygons part here, as you can see. And you can keep the project coordinates. Now I will just call polygon name. Just keep it 100. Last time I didn't add the second field, that so it didn't come. So I will just keep ID as well. So I will just add here with this one as integer. I will add. Now I'll have two fields now. If I click OK, now the polygon is coming here. Now make sure to change the polygon order as well to make it, for example, on top of this one, second one, for example. Now let's assume I would like to create a polygon at this area and polygon at this area. So again here, make sure to click on the polygons. Then in the top left here, you will find toggle editing, and you need to add a polygon now. So if I click on the add a polygon, I can just zoom in, for example, and I can just left click again here. Then you can see it's moving with me. Then left click again, left click. And once you are done, just right click. Now it will ask you what is the polygon name, just one, name one. Then we just test one, for example, test one. Then call it this one, or yeah. Now the polygon is being created. Now assume you would like to create another polygon. It will be under the same layer. Let's assume that you would like to create it at this particular area, for example, here. So I will just left click here, left click, again, left click, then right click if you will close it. So test 2, for example, test 2, call it 2. Now your polygon is being created. And again, if you like to create, for example, remove or change the formatting, just double click. And if you look into that part now, for example, I would like to make it change unfill. I would like to have it just lines, covering lines. So now you can see above here fill, you have simple fill. If you click this one here, you will find fill color. Like, for example, if you like with a particular color within this area, so it will change, or if you don't want any fill at all. So you need to go to the fill style, then make no brush. So this, you can just store it. It's not that difficult. Then now if you click it now, see now how it looks like. It's like just covered by lines outside here. If you went back for that part for the fill above here, this is, for example, your lines, you can just increase. You can here, for example, you just make it red, then okay. Now, for example, let's assume you want to change the lines. Okay, the stroke lines. Here, you have it already. And you would like to change the size of these lines. For example, I want to make it here as 2. See now how it looks like. I will just make it 1. This is how it looks like. If you click apply here, see now this is how it looks like. And you would like to change the color as well for the lines. Okay, then apply. Now this is how it looks like. So now the polygon is being created. And the same concept, you can even update it or remove it or move it to any area. For example, again, remember that you have digitizing and you have the digitizing toolbar, advanced one. So for example, this is if you'd like to move a feature, you just select this feature and move it to anywhere. For example, here. Or you just click it again and move it back to here. This is if you'd like to do. So, and for example, here you another rotate if you'd like to rotate it. Or for example, if you click here, just hover your mouse on the other side. Scale it. For example, I would like to reduce the size. So for example, see, I'm increasing or reducing the size. For example, I would like just to make it like this. This is just an example for the scaling. So I'll just return it back to this area. You can even see it's just showing the scale above in the right side above here. Just getting back here to scaling, and you can even give sampling feature or even adding parts or filling or even deleting or As you mentioned before, you can offset, you can just move it and so on. So this is exactly the same concept. So this is actually how you can create this kind of things. Now let's move to the next part, which is related to how to start adding your sectors. Adding new sectors. Then again, we'll be explaining how to upload the data in general, and this will be in part of the sectors, how to upload the data from different sources. For example, not only creating manual, to, for example, upload points and start creating sectors and so on. So let's now move to this part. So now let's speak about how to upload data from different data sources, which is going to be used to create also points, also to create the sector and sites and sector location and so on. So let's see how to do that. So again, we'll go through the same, which is you have layer above here. Under the layer, last time we speak about create layer, which this new temporary scratch layer whenever you need to create points or points or polygons or lines, which is called vectors. As a manual, you need to do that part. Now, it should be now if you would like to add already created layer, if you already need to add a create layer, can be from add vector layer. Or for example, you would like to upload a spreadsheet or an Excel file or a CSV in order to use it to add plots or points and so on. So, and now we have two methods here. You have the add delimited text layer, which is referred to the CSV, and we have this spreadsheet layer. So I'm going to use a spreadsheet layers, which is usually take the data from Excel file, XLS. The main idea here that this one is part of the plugin. By default, the QGIS is not coming with this option. So we need to, again, install the plugin, which is already highlighted in the beginning of the session, that the spreadsheet layer should be added. It's called spreadsheet layer plugin. You should add it. Then you can start seeing this option. Once you click this one here, you will start seeing that one. What is the file name? So you need to browse your Excel file. So I just browse here. Once I go here, for example, I have this sectors. This is my file. I'll just click the sectors. And here is the sheet one. This is, I will just call it sectors addition, for example. Then if you look into that part here, usually this one is coming like this. Geometry is not clicked. So you need to click the geometry. And this one will be points from columns. So it's directly taking already X field should be longitude, Y field should be latitude. It's already taking this data. And this is actually very important, the reference system actually. Usually if you click that one, you might sometimes find different or many different systems here, but actually you should use, whenever you're using longitude and latitude in degree, so you should use this one, which is called 4236 WGS84. This one is being used actually for the geographic coordinate system, which is representing the latitude and longitude. So we need to click this one, which is 4326 WGS84 for longitude and latitude. So now this is how my data looks like. If you look into my data, you have site ID, cell ID, longitude, antenna azimuth. This is azimuth for the sector creation and frequency band. And you have downlink and you have azimuth width and radius center. I added these two fields in purpose. I will explain why. This will be needed for the sector creation, especially if you have multiple carriers and you would like to plot them with different colors or whatever. And one important point I would like to tell you, when you enable the geometry, this one will not be clicked. So make sure to click this one as well, because whenever you need to export the data, for example, you need to copy some data from the map and export it to Excel file or whatever. If you didn't click that one, this data will not come with a latitude and longitude. So we need to click this show fields and attribute table. Okay, so this is very important. So now once you click here, this one will start plotting as a point in our map. See now, so I will just click. See now, it's just sector addition. Nothing is being appeared here because of one point. Again, same point, that the layer addition, this is coming at the bottom here, so we need to drag and drop to the top. See now, once I drag it to drop in the layer order, I'm giving the high priority here. So now it starts showing some particular points in the map. And this is points representing my sites, and we can now start getting our sector. So first point I can do is just change the formatting again. Right click, properties. Once you have that part, you will need to click into symbology. Okay. So in the symbology, this is called embedded symbols. Usually I use this single symbol, this one, in the top here. Once I click the single symbol, now I can just, for example, change it to blue dots from here. This is already saved, and you can make your default or even favorite, you can save it. I can explain that part as well. So once you click this one, for example, now we can increase the size or even keep it the same size. Now I'll keep it this one. If I apply here, see now it starts changing in the map here. Now it's the blue dots representing my sites. So now this is my size. In case if, for example, if you click into that one and you will need again to look into what kind of data you have it for this one, this is actually the table attributes. For example, I would like to check what kind of contents I have. So right click here, you'll find open attribute table. Now this one, once you open it here, it will actually take you to the how your table looks like. So once you open this table attributes, this is how it will looks like. Sometimes it will come like this. Actually, we need it in tables view, so this is not a tables view. So if you look in the very bottom right down here, there is something called here. If you click in the very bottom right here, this is called table view. This icon, if you can see it in the very bottom right down here. This is one. So if you click it now, it will just switch into a table view, as you can see here. So now it's showing our information, which is site, cell ID, longitude, latitude, and so on. And very important point, if you light during uploading the layer, if you didn't click this to add this kind of latitude, longitude to the attributes, this information will not come here. So it's very important to add it here. So now, for example, this is our table format for all the blue points which we have it in the map. This is again, I just switch it down. This is for this blue point. This is our table format. This which is from open attribute table. Now it's here, and this is where I would like to tell you switch to form view. For example, this one or this one. So now we close this one. Now we would like to create the sectors to see how we can add sectors. Now in this case, you need to add a new tool to install a plugin, which is already in our plugins as well, which is called this one. It's called Shape Toolbars. Again, you need to install it from here. Shape Toolbars. It will come like that part, as you can see here, which is here. You can give it again from the view toolbars. You will find here Shape Toolbars, which is the above one, which is being highlighted here. So in this case, what you need to do, you need to click in your layer, which is sector addition, which is this kind of points. Then you need to go through that. If you click here, for example, in this kind of circle, donuts, you'll find that you have different options here. You can do many different even lines or whatever, but you need to do sectors, which is create pie wedge, this one. So this one, you just click it now. It will start giving you a lot of information here. So first of all, because I'm selecting my layer, my input layer will be sector addition. In case if you select another area, another layer here, make sure that this one is all the time will be selecting your sector addition. It's already selected. This is our input layers. So now shape, keep it as it is polygon. Now the azimuth mode, you usually have two types of azimuth. Use center azimuth and azimuth wedge, or start and beginning and ending azimuth. So keep this one, center azimuth and azimuth wedge. Now for the center azimuth, this is you need to get your information in the Excel file, which is called azimuth, just show the direction of the table. So what you need to go on the right side here, you just need to click here. Then after this one, you'll find this field type. Under this is your table information, right? So I need to give my antenna azimuth, this one. So I give my antenna azimuth, so this will take information from here. So now you have this ending azimuth or azimuth width, and you have the radius units. First of all, this changes one to meters, and this one I will keep it 30 for now. I'll not change it, just to show you how it will look like. This is actually, it's like this will be like my ending azimuth, or as I'm using here the center azimuth and azimuth width. So this one will be my width of azimuth. So now I'm using width at 30 degree. So now we have the radius. I will just change the radius maybe make it 200 for now. This means 200 meters. So now let's run and see what we'll get. This one, I'm expecting this dot points to have another additional layer to be added here, with showing the sectors. So now see, I have an additional layer which is being added called output layer here. It's not showing anything because again, you need to change the layer order. So I will take it up here. See now it's showing my sectors as I was expecting. And you can even rename this output layer. For example, you can call it rename, right click here. And you can just, for example, create site underscore, for example, sectors. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Now, assume now you would like to have it with, let's assume you have multiple layers under that one. For example, this particular sector have multiple layers and you would like to have a fans, like for example, different fans for that part. So what you need to do that part. For example, this is like not considering my information. Again, let me rephrase what I will say. If you open your open attribute table, you will find, for example, you have different band or different frequency bands under this part, N77, N1, and so on. Each one of them having an azimuth already, right? Azimuth width. So assume now you want to show all of them within this part. How to do it? You can do it with different colors, and here where those two columns will come into the figure, something called azimuth width and something called radius. Let me explain. Now let's create the same with a fence. So what you need to do, you just need to click on the dots, this one, the points, and again go to this one, which is called shape toolbars. Click here, then you need to click the create by wedge. Now, okay, same. So now let's start showing this figure. Now we have again using the same. So my center azimuth, again, I will just click here and choose my center azimuth with antenna azimuth. Now you would like to have a different, maybe you can have different radius or cell azimuth. So can be through your data. What it means, for example, if you would like to show different things here, so you need to give a different radius, right? Or even different ending or width azimuth. For example, you can make it more wider, less wider, and so on. So I will play around with the radius. So for example, I will increase the radius from them, so to come at the end, to be higher and other smaller. So in this case, you can see all of them within the map. So again, I will change the units, and I would like to take you to the sheet, original sheet, just to show you what I will do, just to give you more clear figure about that one. So now if you look into this, this is my sheet here, okay? This is a sheet which we are going to use it here. So now I'd like to give a different, I added 2 columns. It can be any name, but one for azimuth width, this one, and one for the radius, okay? If you look into that part, you will find that I'm giving here information. This is information in the table, which I have 4 carriers, for example, for different sectors, for different bands. So I'm giving, for example, azimuth width for this one at the 30. It will be more wider. So I'm expecting this will be wide, and the other giving 15, but I changed it only in the radius. So I'm expecting to see this different radius, which means the radius of the sector will be less for N77 and higher for the others. So let's see now how it looks like. So what you need to do, I'll just take this one down. Now we need to change this azimuth width. Here, go here, and just select the column which you are going to use. I call it here azimuth width. This can be any name, by the way. And the same for this radius. You click here, and again variables, then you click the radius. Then you click run. Now we are expecting to see different coloring. This called again new output layer. How come here? I will hide the old one. I will just take this one up here and see what we'll see. Okay, now good. As you can see here in this one, if you look on the side, it's looks like it's having 2 or 3 sectors here. And within this area, for example, this one having one wider, which is N77, and others which is high. Now, how to change the coloring for that part to have a different colors? So now this output layer, I will right click and name it again, and also call it sector, side sectors 2. Okay. Now I would like to have a different coloring here. So this is actually related to the legend and coloring. So again, this is right click here, properties, or double click. This is very important as well. This you use it all over the way. So this one, the single symbol, this one, which is under symbology, you need to change this one to categorized. This one to categorize by color, for example. So under the categorizing, you need to select the value. For example, which value I would like to use. For example, I will categorize by what? I would like to categorize, for example, here by frequency band. So if I make down, you can see in the down here, classify. Now it will be showing all the options. I have N1 in red color, and this can be tuned. I will hide this one which is not needed. Actually, it will not show in any case. So I just need to click apply and see what we'll have before closing this window. See now how it looks like. Now, for example, this one having 3 sectors, one of wider. You can see N77 is shorter in the radius, but having a wider width, right, azimuth width. That's why it's wide. And the other is coming here and so on. That's why this is our data now. And as a legend, you can see under, if you created the legend, it will come under the layer itself, which is called sector edition. This is, you can close it here. Later on, I will show you how we can print this one in a very good format, as a map format. So this is now, you just explain how to make a points. Now, for example, let's import again points, but these points will be using, for example, also Excel file or CSV. So again, what we're going to do, for example, from the layer, and from the layer, we need to go add layer and add speech sheet. The add speech, for example, I will call it coverage or point naming coverage. This I need to browse actually. I need to go this way. It's called coverage point, this one. Then I can just rename this sheet. This will be the name of my layer. And again, this one should be geometry selected be here. And this projection should be EBGS 4326, which is WGS 84, this one. So now also I need to show the fields, which is latitude and longitude in my attributes table. I'll just click OK. This is exactly the same idea. It will come here. I'll just again change the layer order. So it will come on top of everything here. See? Maybe I can just take the sides on top of it, just to have it more clear. If you move the sides on top of this layer, see now the sides is coming above the layers, as you can see here. So now this kind of points. Now I would like to, for example, if you look into this table, right click here, and you again look into the open attribute table, it will just show you the table information here, as you can see. Now let's assume now you want to give a very different coloring and ranges based on a specific column. For example, I have this column called RSLP. Okay, I would like to give a column and it will be automatic taking categorization different colors with this kind of tables here for this kind of column. So I can also again use the same method which is being used before. So I just need to double click here for this points, this layer, and under the symbology we can make it with categorized or graduated. I'll explain the differences, but actually in this case, for example, the categorized, if you again go into here and select the field, which is RSRP, and now if you ask them to categorize, see, it will tell you that you're having thousands of fields, thousands of entries. So in this case, I suggest to you to use the graduated one, this one. So in the graduated part here, for example, it's just showing here the field. Again, I'm selecting RSRP. If you look in the bottom left here, there is something called equal count quantile equal or fixed intervals. Let's, for example, you can try any one of those. For example, you can, let's say, fixed intervals. Try this one. See, now it's giving fixed intervals based on whatever you want. For example, let's say that you would like, this is my data. It's classified as 1 dB or one delta 1 between each one of those points. And this would be the legend. So for example, let's say that you would like to be 20. So it will just see it's classified into 3. You can make it, for example, 10. This is 100. So now if you make it 10, for example, you have this one. So I will make it 15. See, now I have 4 ranges. Let's keep it like that for now and see what we'll do. Now, for example, this one, we can still even do it manually. If you double click here, see, you can even now do a manual change. If you do this one, it will be applied for the next. For example, my minimum is minus 44. I will make the maximum, for example, minus 70. See, it will automatically apply to this one. So this is also helping you in case if you'd like to adjust based on your preferences for that one. So for example, this one, I can make it till 95, for example here. So it will start here automatically for that part. Now you just need to change the coloring manual from here for each point of those. So what you need to do for changing the coloring in case you don't want to do that. But by the way, you have many other options, but this is the one I usually recommend, fixed interval. Just click the symbols here for each one of those. If you click on the symbols, for example, first you can increase the symbol size. You can, for example, make it 3. Let's see. This one 3, okay? Then one, for example, let's assume you want a specific color, not on those options. So you need to click on the colors here. For example, I already saved some colors on the right. So I will just click, for example, this one, which is green. I'll just select it. Now I will take this one. Now this one become green. Then I will do again, for example, for this one. I will take it, for example, as if you write this color here, simple color. Again, this one you need to select in the color here. Also, I will take this one as yellow, for example, or yeah, yellow. Okay, then this yellow, then you click OK. This one, okay, but now I just need to change the size to make sure it's consistent data. So this one, for example, will be 3. This one also, I'll just keep it for yellow for now, just the same. Click here also, 3. Again, click here. For example, I keep it yellow or orange, whatever. Let's keep it orange. So now the last one, I will keep it as red. This one, again, click on this one, change it to 3, just to keep it consistent with the others as well. And for the coloring point of view, you need to click in this color and just select the red one. Okay. Now, if you click OK, now apply. See, now this is how it looks like, but it's actually, if you look into that, it's not really very clear because it's this kind of dots having like a frame of a black color. So this, in case if you look into that part, you need to even edit it more. So we need, in this case, to go to the points and click it here and symbol. Under that spot, you click this symbol marker under the symbol marker here. For example, you have the stroke color. For example, this one you can just disable this stroke style. I can just make no pen. I don't want any background or any like framework for this kind of circles. So see now how it looks like. The same here. Click here and you symbol marker. Then after this solid line, change it to no pen. No pen. Again, same here. Click symbol marker here. No pen. Same here. Symbol marker. And now this one. So now if you click apply, now it will be more clear. See now how it looks like. Now it's very clear, but this range is taking majority, so better to change the range, for example, just to have it more clear figure. So for example, I make this one to -85, just to see what we'll get. -85. Okay, let's keep it for that for now. See, now this is like just based on the coloring thing you would like to do. So now this is how we can do and how we can change the coloring and so on. Okay, now let me explain you one important part as well, which might be needed from time to another. That, for example, if you would like to create automated routes, for example, let's move this part for now. Now, assume that for those sites, you would like to cover all these kind surrounding routes here. And before I did it manually. So if you want like to make it automated instead of drawing it manually, what you can do with that part? In this case, you need to download another plugins or install another plugin, which I also added in this slides, which is called Quick OSM. So if you click, for example, this one, which is Quick OSM, click it here, plugin. So once you click here, it will give you this figure now, which is called, so you have a quick query here. Under this quick query, you can just select, for example, this key things here. It's having many options here. We have one website which can give you a guide with this one. For example, I will just mention highway. Okay. Under this one highway, you can even find many other things here. If you are looking for a particular, for example, highway only for the bus stop or cycle and so on, you can just select. So I'll keep it all for now. And here, like it's asking, the tool is asking you where you would like to search. For example, I would like to search under, you can even add the canvas extent. This means after the one which is being highlighted here or after layer, a specific layer. So yeah, I'm just selecting that one. And I would like to select under my sector 2, which is, I just created now, which is called sector 2, this one, for example. Now, if I run query, for example, here, this one you can see, this one run query on the right here. If you run it here, let's see what will happen. Now it's uploaded 2 layers, okay? These 2 layers come here on the right down here. As you can see, what's one called high points, and dots. Let's now take this one to the top. Let's see what will happen. See now, yeah, very good. See now for that part, you have one lines. For example, this line that's all covered all the area around. For those now, you don't need actually to draw it manually. In case if someone requested you to draw some routes, this makes it more easy for you. You can just draw a polygon and just ask the tool to get all the lines within this polygon. And it's even can working for buildings, hospitals, mosques, for example, stadiums, many other things. You can just ask the tool to plot it for you. And this is very, very helpful actually. And this is also, and by the way, can be again now, for example, let's change the format to be more clear for us. I'll just change it, for example, to 1 here and apply. It's a green one. This now can be exported to any format you would like to do. And this is one of the features I would like to highlight for you, which is very important. Assume all these layers you would like to use it in MapInfo or KML or Google Earth. So you need to export the layer, right? So if you right click here, you have export feature, but first you need to make it permanent. But anyway, you have export feature here and save feature as. Okay. This save feature as, it's having geo package. This means it probably will be a vector format for the QGIS. But if you can change that here, for example, you have this one, GML, you have this one, Cahill markup language, which is for the Google Earth. So if you selected that one, you can just give the layer a name. For example, let's export it, call it here, for example, Google Earth. Okay, layer. Now, if you just export it, now you can open the same in the Google Earth. I will open it for you just to show you how it looks like. This is also a very good option here. Okay, so now I just opened the Google Earth just to show you, like, for example, this layer, which is just exported. I would like to open it in Google Earth just to see how it looks like. I'm expecting that one, it will come in within the same area. So now I just go to File, Open here, and just take this layer, which is being saved here. Okay, see now here it's being done. So this is actually saving time as well in case if you would like to draw many routes for a particular area. So yeah, so now let's move to the next and last. So now let's discuss about the last part. Actually, there is 4 points I would like to add more. For example, now I would like to show labels for those sites. So let me highlight first the highway. So I would like to show labels for those sites. For example, I have this sector addition. I would like to show a label for that particular part. So you can just right click here and go to the properties again. And under that part, you'll find this kind of label thing. Okay. So now for the label, if you click here, you'll find this no label now. So you can just, for example, have rule based on a specific rule or single label. So I will just select single label. And here you can just select the field where you would like to get it as a label. So now I would like to get the site ID, for example. Then If I click apply here, it will start showing this information here, as you can see. Now you can play around with the information. For example, I would like to make it as a buffer here. This is formatting for the labels in general. So if you click this one now, see, it will be start showing at that part, and you can even increase or reduce the size. For example, now I'm increasing for the size for that part. So this is actually how it looks like, and you can do any formatting you would like to do. And this is actually how you can do the labeling. And you can do that. Just want to increase the size, reduces the size again, and so on. So now this is like if you would like to get the labels. Now I just enable the labels. This is how you can do it. This is the first point. Second, assume now I would like to make a filtering for this data, for my data inside that one. Let's give you an example. For example, this coverage, which we have it here, which is called coverage points. If you open, right click here and go to the table, open attribute tables here. If you look into that band, for example, or even the levels, if you go down here, you have N77 and you have N1. Let's assume now I'm plotting both of them. I would like to just plot for one of them. So I need to do a filtering in the map or in the table. How to do that? Now remove that part, and you can just right click again here, and you'll find something called filter. Okay. If you click into this filter thing, you'll find that you have this kind of options giving you all the options. So I would like to get the band, right? So it's actually easy. If you click the band, we can just ask to give them a sample of the values. So it will give you that this band having N1 and N77. So if you would like to do the filtering, you need just to double click here. It will come down here. Then you need to give the rule. For example, I would like to create a rule based on N1. I just want to keep filtering based on N1 band. So I will just click OK. Then I will double click in this N1 here. Then I click apply, for example, or test. I just make test. See, now it changed the data here. If you again have a look, this one changed, for example, to N77, then make a test. See, data is changing. So again, I will change it to N1, and I will make a test. So this is also one of the options, and it can be even AND. You can even give an AND condition for different options. For example, you would like to add the dates or any other condition, you can do AND for this condition and so on. So this is actually one of the options where you can do also the filtering. Okay, now let me explain to you three more parts. The first two parts I would like to explain is how, for example, to make a search in the map. For example, if you'd like to search for a layer or a particular point or particular site or whatever you would like to search. So, for example, assuming that you would like to search for a particular sector within those one or site. So I have installed another tool. If you went up to this plugins, it's called search layer. So this is also under the plugins. You need to install it. If you click this one here, under the search layer, you have also that part here. For example, it's asking you what is the search layer. So my search layer, for example, is site sector 2, this one, which is, sorry, any one of those actually, sector addition. And which field you would like to search? I would like to search by site ID here. And if I click here, which one, say that contains or doesn't contain or whatever, so I will make search. It will give me all the information out of the site ID, which having all this kind of information, all the features. So if now I would like to jump to this side, you can see zoom action when selecting feature now. Do nothing now. So if I change to zoom to the selected feature, if I click now here, it will take me directly to the, see now it's highlighting. See, it's moving again and again. So because it's point, so it's going to the point. It's point is bottom here, so let me move it up just to make it more clear for you. It should be highlighted by yellow. So I will just move this one to above here. So to get this my points here. So now let's click now here. See now, when I click now on this particular site, it's showing me this kind of yellow color and so on here. So now let's try another search, which is, for example, based on another layer. For example, let's select this one, which is called sector 2. Now make search. See, so now, yes, okay, because now this is the sector addition. So now when I click this one, give me yellow here. It's zooming to this one. And let's make pan to selected one, just to select the other feature. See now, it's just zooming to the area what I'd like to do. See? So better to use the second feature, what's called. Okay, now let me explain the last three parts which I would like to tell you about it, which is the first one. It's about how to search. For example, I would like to search for a specific cell or sector or whatever, or even point or anything, or even layer. You can do that. For example, first you need to go to plugin, install something called search layer. I already added in the plugins which we have. After you have installed it, you will find this search layer. You just select in search layer to give this option. Now under this option, for example, it's giving now which layer you would like to search. Let's assume that you would like to search site 62, okay? And I would like to find, for example, site 2000. And here, which search field I would like to give in search cell ID. So if I make search now, it will give you all the options which you would like to do. And here you have options, like if you would like to zoom in to the selected area or just ban on this one. So now let's select this one. If I click here, now let's see what will happen. See, whenever I select this one, for example, it's 2000 here, the above side, it's giving yellow color. See, now it's moving to the next one and again, now moving to this one. So this is actually also a good option. And there is also another search tool under this MMGIS, but this one is fair enough for now. And one more thing I would like to do, for example, if you went far away from a particular layer and you would like to go back directly, so you can just right click in this layer and just make zoom to layers. It will take back you to the layer. This is also one of the parts. Now let's end up by how to print this kind of maps in a good formatting. This is the first point. And for example, to have a legend and this kind of things. And also one of the things I would like to tell you, for example, if you would like to make some editing in this particular map, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the project, you have this kind of in the view map view here, you have something called decorations after that part. Other decoration, for example, you can add here a north arrow. So this one, for example, north arrow, I will allow it. I will just, for example, increase the size. Let's make it 30. Then I will ask him, I will do it in the top right here. So if I apply it, something will appear here, as you can see. This is just as a decoration for the map. We don't really need it, but this one is sometimes needed, the scale bar. For example, the scale bar, I will just enable it as well. And I will just make it as a box and also increase the size here. I will make it 60, for example. And I will tell him I need it in the top left, for example, here. I will apply it. So it will come above here. If you remove that part, you will see now you have it in double here. You can change the color. This is just showing you the distance as a scale bar, and even you can add a text. Now the last part, it's about the map, how to edit, how to print it out. So first, also one of the options I would like to show you, it's about the map. So now you can just new print out this map into a different layer. And before jumping to this part, I just want to show you a very good feature here, which is under the view called new map view. If you click this one here, see now it's opening additional map here. So for example, you can zoom in on a particular area and you can having a two view for that part. Even you can have an additional one. It's like you can have multiple layers as much as you can. It's okay, as much as you want, I mean. So for example, here you can zoom into a specific area. This is also one option for the maps, which is a very good one. Okay, now for the last part of this session, that if you would like to print out your map in a good looking or good format, for example, to add the legend and all other things, and also we can have multiple maps at the same time. So let me explain you how to do that. If you look into the top left here, you have something called new print layout. You can get it from here. This is under the toolbars, which is called a project toolbar, or even after the project, you can find this same new print layout. So clicking this new print layout, it will take you into, for example, called coverage. So it will take you into a map as this one, as you can see, a figure here. So in this figure, you have a lot of items on the left. This item is actually, it's called item here. It's exactly same on the left here. So for example, you can use here from add map as an example. So if I just zoom in here for this particular area framework, it will just rendering my map, which I have it over there, which is this one. Now, assume now you would like to add, for example, a legend. Okay, let's make a legend. Add a legend for this map. So now you can just go again add. Then under this one, you can add a legend here. So you can add a legend now here. So once you see the legend, let me zoom in a little bit just to make it more clear. Okay, this is your legend. If you click into this legend, you just need, for example, to get coverage points. So once you click here, you will find something under item property here. You can just take this one up here a little bit, like this. Under this item, you can just remove this item legends. You can just auto update and just remove whatever you don't need to keep it. For example, I just need to keep the coverage points, so I will remove all the others. So just shift click here. Then I will just click into this remove selected. The same for the other, shift click, then remove selected. Then I will have that part. And still you can, for example, assume that you need to add another legend. So again, you can add another legend, for example, for the sectors. And in this case, I need also to keep only the sector, site sector 2. So I will just like click and shift click again, and I will just remove this auto update. And here and there, shift click, remove. You will end by this one, shift click again. So now you have 2 legends. We can add more items as well, just in case you would like to make your map more clear. For example, you can add a scale bar from here. So this scale bar, you can just select here, for example. By default, it gives you like 2 ranges only here. You can even increase it for more if you would like to do that. For example, under also the item properties here, you can see like segments like left, and you have right 2. So if, for example, if I make it 4, I change it 4, for example, it's giving me now 4 items. If I make it to 3, it's giving on to 3 ranges, as you can see here. This is also one thing. You can also add, for example, the arrow. For example, let's assume that you would like to highlight one area here. So I will just do like that. Select add items. Arrow, for example, you can here your arrow. Okay, this one can be here. And also the same, let me delete this one for now. I deleted the map. Okay. Okay, now good. So now let's assume that you would like to add any other shape or label. You can do all of that manually actually. Also, you can add this add north icon if you would like to do that in case if you need it. And you can just modify the coloring and everything from here, even the shape and all these kind of things. Now, one of the most important also function of that part, it's that part actually. If assume that you would like to add a multiple map, assume that you would like to highlight a particular area. Let's assume this area or this area, and to have a multiple map on this one. So I can just make this one more smaller here and just make it more smaller again. I just take this one out. Yeah, I'll just take this one out. I'll just reduce the size of this one. Keep this one inside here also, and here, and here also. So you can reduce the size as well. So, okay. Now you can select all and, for example, move it to the left here. Assume now that you would like to get a particular area, for example, this area only. Okay. So first of all, just click in this one in the map and just go to one option under this item properties and just keep it as lock layer. This one, just lock the layer now. Now I would like you to move back to your QGIS. Now I would like to zoom, for example, this area only, and I would like to plot this bad area, for example, this area only. So I'll just do like that now. And I will move back again to my here template. Now you can add additional map actually. If you go to add item, you can add map. So you can do like, for example, like that here. You can even increase a little bit. See now, it's just giving you based on the zoom which you have in your original map. Now in this area. And you can keep doing that by locking this one again under the item properties. And again, going down here, lock layer. And again, you can go back to your layer. Assume that you would like now to zoom in to this particular area, which is above here, for example. So yeah. So now go back. Again, you can add item. And you can keep doing that for any number of times, multiple times, in times you need. For example, I am adding here. See now it's zooming in only in the area which I was giving in the previous one. And you can keep looking and so on. And there is a lot of items here. And at the end, you can just save this one. Once it's saved, you can open it anytime you would like to do. For example, you can export it. You can export it to anything you would like to. For example, you have multiple options here for the export as CFG or even PDF. You can export it. And once you close it, for example, let's close now. Once you close it back, you can open it anytime you would like to under the same template. For example, you have something called Show Layout Manager. You can get it from here or even from here. For example, Layout Manager. If you click this one here, it will give you any created template. For example, this is the one I created. I can just double click now. It will again be saved and you can do that all the time. So actually, this is the end of our first session. I hope this was useful for you. So let's wait for the second session, which will be trying to cover more advanced things. So let's see you next session. And if you like, please press like and comments and give a comments and feedback and share it with your friend. Thank you. See you next video.